Ohtani is hit hard to deep right field. Call's going back at the wall. It's tied. 2 outs, 2 runs. Ohtani with a shot to lock it at 2. Where is Whiteville?
Congratulations, Brian. And others. We have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually. Washington.
Oh, so great to see the LA Dodgers having a great time with our president, with all of the constant drudgery the mainstream media plays out and pushes on Trump. He knows how to keep things light. And this battle is real, but he continues to lead with grace. And Bibi also had a shock yesterday when President Trump again brought up something strange. We're going to expose that one. We also will see how these tariffs, how well they're doing. It's working. And we're going to close with the pedos that are being arrested in Florida. Wow. There's a lot to get into. Let's get into this. First one to tell you, July 13th through the 20th, 2025. A reminder that we are getting to the final moments of you getting the availability of jumping on a cruise at sea with LT, navigating truth, hope, faith, and freedom. You're going to be with fellow patriots. They'll share their stories alongside others, and you're going to say, when did you wake up? Where are you from? Wow, can I get your information? The next thing you know, you've got new friends. Remember, you guys were all pushed and all alone for so long, but yet you're going to be with others. Laura Logan's going to be there. Tim Lovelace is there. Todd Tillman from The Voice, the winner of 2020, will be there. And the best of all, folks, we're going to be in beautiful Alaska. That's right. The food is absolutely amazing aboard the cruise line, the Western M, and we'll be looking at those glaciers and going on excursions and more together. Looking so forward to meeting all of you. Click in the description box below or go to andweknow.com and you'll find out more about it. So, of course, President Trump, you saw a little bit in the intro, but wanted to just show, think about it like this from Ultrafrog 17. Trump would not be smiling and making jokes and laughing, and I'm showing on the screen for those listening in, him having a great time, like you heard in the intro, with the LA Dodgers baseball team. In case you didn't know what that was in the intro and you were listening, that's what he's doing. He's having a good time standing in front of them, telling jokes and more. And I tell you what, he wouldn't be laughing if he thought that the tariff gamble wasn't going to pay off in a major way. Social media is in a constant state of panic, but Trump's confidence says everything you need to know. This whole earth being controlled by these terrible and evil people. Well, the evil folks are literally dying, and you're blackpilling everyone. Everyone is doubting his plan today. Will have egg on their face soon. I want to show this again with that context of knowing he's in front of the LA Dodgers.
And others. We have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce.
He cooks the senators to their faces, and the Dodgers are having a blast behind them.
Of this amazing season, the members of this team.
Then he turns around, whispers something. They're all laughing and smiling.
I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually.
And they're just having fun. I just love it. And of course, Ohtani, we showed him in the intro. And if you guys didn't know, his number is number 17. We're going to show some more of that in a second. but he's having a heyday. And you can imagine what the Japanese mainstream media is doing, freaking out because all they do is constantly put President Trump down. And Otani's probably in for a lashing from all of the people, most of the people there. There's a lot of fans in Japan of President Trump. And man, they are lied to. And you would just be in shock how disgusting it is for the media over there. And so, anyway, he walks up 7 hours later, according to Dan Scavino, and he gets a home run after meeting President Trump.
Otani is hit hard to deep right field. Call's going back at the wall. It's time! And
we saw that in the intro, and of course, he's number 17. If you guys didn't know that, I always thought that was pretty amazing. And, of course, getting that home run and Dan Scavino pointing that out. You know, October 29th, 2021, Scavino Facebook post, 11:50 p.m., enter Sandman. Trump throws the ball to the Mariano Rivera, the closer. On the 23rd of July, 2020, Rivera joined Trump and Little League baseball players on the White House lawn. In the video, Trump tweeted, Jersey 17. He throws the ball to the President of the United States right at the 17-second mark. Does POTUS then throw the ball to the closer? To you? Enter Sandman. You, that's you, all the folks out there listening, Q and Post are most definitely in control. Important takeaway. We had the ball the entire time. The world is watching World Series. The world is here. Eyes on. 2350, Red October, double meanings exist. Absolutely amazing how this continues to play out. Well, President Trump, of course, keeping up with the 17 because we love it. Rates are plummeting. Oil prices are plummeting. Deregulation is happening. President Trump is not going to bend. That's what President Trump posted. As you're looking at your screen, for those that are listening, he's showing a screenshot of Brent and crude from the stock market, and it's down 1.73 Brent crude. And crude oil is down 1.76. You got the 1.7, 1.7. Interesting set of 17s again for all of us to see. Isn't that something? The budget plan President Trump put out just passed by the United States Senate. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Has my complete and total endorsement and support. All of the elements we need to secure the border, enact historic spending cuts, and make tax cuts permanent, and much more are strongly covered and represented in the bill. Thank you to Senate Majority Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson for their hard work and attention to detail. There's no better time than now to get this deal done. The House, the Senate, and our great administration are going to work tirelessly on creating the one big, beautiful bill, an appropriate name if Congress so likes. Everyone is going to be happy with the results. Passage will make even the subject of world trade far easier and better for the USA. The House must pass this budget resolution and quickly make America great again. So who happened to be against all of this? There's 7 Republican senators co-sponsoring a bill to limit President Trump's tariff powers. They're actually out there going against him. Senator Moran, Grassley, Murkowski, McConnell, Tillis, Young, and Collins. We need primary challenges. This is ridiculous. It is. And of course, then you've got this from Rand Paul.
I am a Republican. I am a supporter of Donald Trump, but this is a bipartisan problem. I don't care if the president is a Republican or a Democrat. I don't want to live under emergency rule. I don't want to live where my representatives cannot speak for me and have a check and balance on power. One person can make a mistake. And guess what? Tariffs are a terrible mistake. They don't work. They will lead to higher prices. They are a tax, and they have historically been bad for our economy.
Interesting. You know, Rand Paul holds stakes in several companies that provide medical equipment to government-operated hospitals, bypassing the competitive bidding process because he is a U.S. senator, says Seeking Truth on X. As a senator, Paul has a significant advantage in securing these contracts without undergoing the typical bidding process. He generates a profit of approximately $480,000 a month from these ventures. These investments represent more than half of Rand Paul's total net worth. Is the reason he is upset with President Trump because tariffs will affect his profit margins from his $5 million per year government income? Shouldn't Rand Paul be more concerned about protecting American workers and their jobs? And I'm showing that to you on the screen. What do you guys think is going on with that? Is he a sleeper that all of a sudden has been out there pushing against President Trump now? Well, when you head out to the Communist News Network, you've got Marlin Steel CEO Drew Greenblatt. And he's loving this stuff. Here we go.
We absolutely have had a couple people anxious about their stock market, about the stock market. But again, you know, our goal is that we're going to sell millions more dollars, so we have to hire many more people. If we do that, we're going to hire them at very good jobs, with very good pay, wonderful benefits with the 401k match. True, there's some companies that have been buying T-shirts from Vietnam and China, and they're going to have to pay a couple more bucks for a T-shirt. And then the American consumer is going to have to pay more for a T-shirt. That's obviously not pleasant for those American consumers. But I think there's going to be an overwhelming surge of hiring in America as things level out, as American factories ramp up and people have to hire talent, buy machines. We've invested money in buying new machines because we're so enthusiastic, so optimistic about the future. That's going to start happening throughout the nation, and people are going to be leaning into the future. This is a very exciting time for the American manufacturing worker. We're going to be able to pull people from poverty into the middle class that used to not have an avenue. They had no shot at getting into the middle class. We're going to be able to offer them a shot.
Sorry about that little interruption. I was bringing up something for us to see. And it's amazing how this was caught on the Intel board. This dropped 1069 on 407. This was April 7, 2018 drop. You have more than you know. Steel, STEEL. Tech, America for sale. Systematic weakening of the United States. Uranium One, cash flow funnel. Inside job, traders and money. We are in control. Those awake can see. So speaking of the steel manufacturer, thrilled by these tariffs, good things are happening. And we were told years ago how this was all going to be playing out. You know, who are the silent thieves? We were reminded again, President Trump, as he had Bibi Netanyahu right there next to him, he talks about 1913 again.
But we are resetting a table, and we're going to have great trade, and we're going to have a very strong country. Our country is going to be at a level that has maybe never been, or maybe, you know, our country was the strongest, believe it or not, from 1870 to 1913. You know why? It was all tariff-based. We had no income tax. Then in 1913, some genius came up with the idea of let's charge the people of our country, not foreign countries that are ripping off our country. And the country was never that kind of wealth. We had so much wealth, we didn't know what to do with our money. We had meetings, we had committees, and these committees worked tirelessly to study one subject. We have so much money. What are we going to do with it? Who are we going to give it to? And I hope we're going to be in that position again.
I love it when he brings that up over and over again, just for all those that continue to miss in on what he's trying to get at. Why are they manipulating you? How are they stealing your wealth? Bubble, crash, steal, lie, and repeat. What is inflation? Monetary manipulation, taxation without representation. Put an end to the endless. 1913. Well, folks, if you heard of a gut check in the Marine Corps or military, you know, it's to check to see if you've got good abs. But, you know, sometimes we need one physically, a real gut healing. I've been experiencing wonderful results with my gut and overall health with KIMCHI ONE. We have a war going on in our gut, and we can strengthen that immune system there. 70 to 80% of the immune system is actually stored in your gut. Probiotic-rich kimchi can help you fight bacterial infections, viruses, common illnesses, and serious chronic conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, skin conditions like eczema, urinary tract infections, and yeast infections. Kimchi is full of ingredients known to stimulate healthy immune function, soothe digestive organs, nourish the gut, fight bacteria, and heal. 1 to 3 servings of kimchi a day decreases obesity and positively affects thyroid health. It also stabilizes your blood sugar. So get your Kimchi One today in the description box below. 25% off your entire order with promo code AWK. That's promo code AWK. You get up to 50% off plus free shipping when you call in to order at 888-317-9941. Get your Kimchi One today in the description box below.
America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Do you know the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money. And that was all made through tariffs. We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
That's right. You know, it's pretty simple. President Trump said China issued retaliatory tariffs at 34%. On top of their already record-setting tariffs, non-monetary tariffs, illegal subsidization of companies, and massive long-term currency manipulation, despite my warning that any country that retaliates against the U.S. by issuing additional tariffs above and beyond their already existing long-term tariff abuse of our nation, we will be immediately met with new and substantially higher tariffs, over and above those initially set. Therefore, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th, 2025, that's today, the United States will impose additional tariffs on China of 50%, effective April 9th. Additionally, all talks with China concerning their requested meetings with us will be terminated. Negotiations with the other countries which have also requested meetings will begin taking place immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You know, I think it's all kabuki theater. I think this is already done and taken care of. Remember when President Trump made a visit to China, to the Forbidden City? Remember that years ago? Why would they let him in there? Wonder what was worked out back then. Just wondering. What do you guys think? Kind of interesting. And then, of course, he has some words for the European Union, too.
The European Union's been very bad to us. They don't take our cars, like Japan in that sense. They don't take our agricultural product. They don't take anything practically. And yet they send millions of cars in a year, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, BMWs. They're sending millions and millions of cars into the U.S., but we don't have a car that's been sold to the European Union or other places, but let's go for the European Union. And it's not going to be that way. It's got to be fair, reciprocal. It's got to be fair. It's not fair.
It's not fair. You know, Trump's approval rating, 53% April 3rd. It was 49% approval rating March 27th. He's gone up 4%. Flashback, most Americans support tariffs on imported goods. They favor 52%. And of course, I like to add up, a little bit more onto that because I don't really trust these polls the way that they're supposed to be put out. But we'll see. We have an opportunity to change, and President Trump continues to remind us. I love it.
It would be nice to serve a nice, easy term. But we have an opportunity to change the fabric of our country. We have an opportunity to reset the table on trade. We lose billions of dollars. We lose close to $2 trillion a year on trade. We lose $1 trillion a year to China. $1 trillion. We lose hundreds of billions of dollars a year on trade to China. We lose hundreds of billions of dollars overall, probably close to $2 trillion. Why would we do that? Number one, why would we do that? And then you have to say, is it sustainable? Then you hear about all of the people that say, well, deficits. If we have a deficit with the country, or if the country has a big surplus with us, like China has a massive surplus that they take and they spend on their military. Well, we don't want that. I don't want them to take $500, $600 billion a year and spend it on their military. I don't want them spending money on their military. And I shouldn't have to spend money. We shouldn't have to spend it either. Because, hopefully, and I said this to President Xi, hopefully it's money that we're never going to use. In other words, because we're not going to use those incredible weapons that we have and that they have. We don't want that. So it's going to be very interesting. It's the only chance our country will have to reset the table. Because no other president would be willing to do what I'm doing or to even go through it. Now, I don't mind going through it because I see a beautiful picture at the end. But we are making tremendous progress with a lot of countries, and the countries that really took advantage of us are now saying, please negotiate. You know why? Because they're getting beaten badly because of what's happening. They're getting beaten badly. They're being devalued as countries. But it's the only chance we're going to have to reset the table on trade. And when we do, we're going to come out unbelievably well. We're going to have a strong country economically again. And we're going to have those factories that are empty all over the United States. We've lost 90,000 plants and factories. Think of this. 90,000, you wouldn't think it's possible. 90,000 plants and factories since NAFTA, which was, by the way, the worst trade deal ever developed, ever had by any country anywhere, NAFTA.
Oh, my goodness. It just gets better and better. Matt Gaetz says, I'm not even a government official, and I've had scores of representatives from other countries calling me to see if I can get them a meeting with the White House so they can negotiate either, number one, a reduction of trade imbalance, or number two, a mutual lowering of tariffs. Trump's brilliant. And also, Meloni from Italy is traveling to the USA on April 16th to meet with Trump to discuss reducing mutual trade tariffs. Oh, my goodness. One country after another continues to move in and say, I've had enough. I give up. I'm willing to work with you. Everything's playing out just fine, folks. Do not fret. Most of you are not, and you're in prayer, and that's great. President Trump, when I listen to him speak, it's always that reminder to listen to what he says, because he knows what's going on, and he keeps us up to date, and he tries to help everybody understand we've got this. Prices are already going down, folks.
Because prices got so high, people couldn't live. I mean, the prices for groceries, the prices for standard groceries, standard things were going through the roof. They couldn't live, and now those prices are coming down. So call them groceries, but that's down, energy's down, and interest rates are down. Everything's down. And the interest rates, the beauty there is when we refinance debt, debt's become such a big factor in this country. We're going to start paying debt off with tariffs and other things. But it's such a big factor because the interest rate's so high. Well, now that's coming way down. So our budget's going to look a lot better because interest costs are way down. And I guess I've done that.
I guess I have. That's really good to hear from President Trump on this end. He was sitting next to Bibi Netanyahu. We've had talks about him. I shared it. If you guys go back to October 7th, videos that we put out right after that incident in Israel, you'll notice many things that we covered on this guy. But notice what Trump teases, a very big meeting with Iran on Saturday with Netanyahu talks. And if you're watching your screen, watch the reaction from Bibi if you're looking at him. He looks really nervous. We're having direct talks
with Iran. And they've started. It'll go on Saturday. We have a very big meeting, and we'll see what can happen. And I think everybody agrees that doing a deal would be preferable to doing the obvious. And the obvious is not something that I want to be involved with, or frankly, that Israel wants to be involved with if they can avoid it. So we're going to see if we can avoid it. But it's getting to be very dangerous territory. And hopefully those talks will be successful. And I think it would be in Iran's best interest if they are successful. We hope that's going to happen.
And he's just looking around that room nervously like, what? You're doing talks with who? What? That's what it looks like to me. What do you guys think? President Trump announced Monday he's going to talk to him. He does it right in front of Bibi. Interesting. Interesting, right? You guys know a little bit about what we're talking about. Many of you have starting to figure this out. Day after day, more exposure. And I wanted to show you this real quick. Anyone claiming that Trump is controlled doesn't understand him at all. He's a master of playing the game. So check out this from the 1980s out of Israel. This is Bibi Netanyahu. We don't have America with us, some guy said. U.S. is not a unified bloc. We have the Senate, the Congress, and a record-strong Jewish lobby on our side. We have a strong influence over the general support in America. America won't force us into anything. So it's very interesting, and we covered this in detail long time ago. And again, remember, there are deep state actors in every single country. I don't lump everyone into problems with every country, including our own, is filled with really strange politicians and things that are going on that we're probably, most of it, will never understand or know about. But remember, we're told on the cue board, we're saving Israel for last. Remember, they're being tariffed at 17%, and Bibi came out and said that he wants to remove all of this and have open trade. Very interesting how that works. So going to our border, we'll notice that President Trump considers launching drone strikes on drug cartels in Mexico. All this being done after the Supreme Court blocks the rogue judge. That's right. The Supreme Court blocks that judge, gives Trump a massive deportation win. The Supreme Court stepped in Monday evening to halt what the Trump administration called an unprecedented judicial power grab, temporarily pausing a federal judge order that demanded the U.S. government bring back a deported MS-13 gang member from a high-security prison in El Salvador. Chief Justice John Roberts granted an emergency administrative stay, giving the administration breathing room as it fights a lower court's order to return Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran national with verified gang ties, back to the United States by midnight Monday, according to Axios. The Trump administration's top legal voice, Sauer, filed the appeal early Monday, accusing U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas of overstepping her authority and interfering with the president's power to manage foreign policy and national security. At the center of the legal clash is Kilmar Armando, and I tell you what, they, according to the Department of Justice, a verified member of MS-13, cited an immigration judge determination that a past, proven, and reliable source of information confirmed that this dude is definitely affiliated with the gang. Well, wouldn't you know that Amy Coney Barrett happened to choose the MS-13 over Americans. So she's proven to be a huge disappointment. The Supreme Court upheld the rule, and President Trump wanted to make sure that we knew about that. And here's the reminder for those looking at your screen of where they're going. President Trump said the Supreme Court has upheld the rule of law in our nation by allowing a president, whoever that may be, to be able to secure our borders and protect our families and our country itself. It's a great day for justice in America. It certainly is. Folks, you're having trouble sleeping, you're having some headaches and some more things going on with you physically in your body, you don't know what's going on, you probably something with your cell phones or Wi-Fi or other electronic devices like 5G causing you problems. Well, there's a product from Fix the World Morocco that will help you out. They have devices that have composites of shungite, steel, iron oxide, and brass powders, all encased in an epoxy resin. When the resin cures, it creates a piezoelectric effect that emits a field of healthy, life-preserving energy called orgone. Well, this energy field was discovered, studied by late scientist Dr. Reich, and there are fascinating studies around orgone energy that were included in the research documentation section of their website. Well, when used in your environment, the devices they created transform the harmful energy given off by electromagnetic frequencies, or EMFs, that come from 5G, your cell phones, Wi-Fi, electronic devices, into healthy, life-preserving energy. Many people have become sensitive to EMFs, which can cause a number of health issues. You got to use these products in your environment. They can protect you from EMF toxicity and help to restore a harmonious environment that aids in better health and well-being. We've got it. Folks, I'm sleeping better. I used to have pain in the middle top part of my head. It's gone since I've received these products. I have them on my phone. I have them all over my house now. It is helping me so much with pain relief, growth in plants. It actually helps with food preservation, better mental clarity, and overall calming effect. Go in the description box below, ftwproject.com/REF/532. I know that's a lot to say, but just go below this video, below the podcast, click on that link, and order your products today. Folks, you will not be disappointed.
This was a huge, a monumental victory for President Trump. The biggest legal win of this administration so far. A total embarrassment for crazy Judge Boasberg, who's been trying to force this president to bring foreign alien terrorists back onto American soil, trying to turn our planes around, trying to empty prisons in foreign countries and bring them back to our soil. This is a monumental, colossal victory for the rule of law, for the Constitution, for our founding generation, John Adams, who signed this law into effect in 1798, and for President Trump in fulfilling his mandate and campaign pledge. What does this mean for you and your family watching at home tonight? It means that the Department of Justice, FBI, DEA, ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service, Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement now have maximum authority to find and remove illegal alien gang members from Venezuela that have been responsible for so much misery in this country, for the torture and murder of Jocelyn Ungary, for the brutal slaying of Laken Riley. Those monsters can now be hunted down and expelled from this country with speed, force, and efficiency. This is a great day for America, Sean.
It is a great day for America, and it's a great day for exposure of Amy Coney Barrett. Remember, guys, when President Trump gave his amazing speech. Remember when she gave President Trump that eye. We're going to look at this clip from Awaken Outlaw again. Remember this clip. Watch her face as she looks at him with disdain. Remember that? We showed it over and over again. We share this clip without sound so you can focus on Justice Amy Coney Barrett. The utter contempt on her face for him is obvious and helps explain why she voted with the Democrats regarding the Alien Enemies Act. What this means is that it's clear that she's unable to make unbiased decisions on important matters that impact the future of our country, that involve the president. This woman is a threat to our republic. Exposure is happening. The evil is right there in front of us day after day. And so this right here then brings us to more great news, because I want to stay more positive than negative. Taiwan offers zero tariffs and more investment in the United States. Boom. Taiwanese President William Laschingte on Sunday proposed zero tariffs, lower trade barriers, and more investment in the United States instead of retaliating against President Trump's tariff increases. Remember, President Trump tariff announcement on Wednesday included 32% on all Taiwanese exports except semiconductors, which are Taiwan's most celebrated and significant product. Trump had threatened in March to include Taiwanese semiconductors, but he said Taiwan stole the industry from America with unfair trade practices. Oh, it's so good. Check this out.
Exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S. China will never accept this. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end. If Trump follows through, the total cumulative tariff on China would be a staggering 104%. Despite the sharp sell-offs on Wall Street and global markets, President Trump, though, is calling for patience. And he's come up with a new name for tariff critics, posting on Truth Social, quote, "The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panickin." A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. Guys, back.
Don't be a what? Don't be a panickin. For those listening, he actually spelled it P-A-N-I-C-A-N. So you have Republican, you have Democrat. Now he's got the panickin. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Oh, bravo, bravo. Bringing up new names. It's just amazing. Speaking of that, new names, check out the clock. The clock on the usdebtclock.org. Some of the new things that are thrown in there, just pretty amazing.
Can anybody explain this? What does this mean?
Defy bankless future.
Future. Look at these numbers.
Yeah, so let me read some of that for those that are listening. He's pointing his pencil over. There's a part on the usdebtclock.org. Defy bankless future. Okay, as USA federal interest savings per year, and it's up to, I think, if I can get this $1 trillion savings per adult, $9,000. USA total interest savings per year. It looks, see, I've got to get it at $4 trillion, almost $5 trillion savings per adult, $43,201. And then you get the Fed fiat dollar loss in value, down 96.23%. But now, 1913 to now, I'm sorry. So from 1913 to now, so they actually put that on there, we've lost 96% in value of the U.S. dollar. The USA Treasury, the dividend dollar gain in value in 10 years, 34.44%. That's on the US debtclock.org. Total hidden wealth, let's see, let's go up to $168 trillion. Wealth per citizen, $494,803. Wow. Recaptured assets has, let's see, $7 trillion. And again, that's the usdebtclock.org. What in the world is going on there? Just makes you wonder. Wonder what's going on. President Trump said he shocks the world. He will add an additional 50% tariff to China if they don't take back their additional tariff. That's what a true leader looks like. It looks like we're going to be tariffing them to like 107% now. Folks will be leaving the Chinese products and coming back to America. It's going to be amazing.
Larry, I can tell you that there are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June. And Japan is a very important military ally. They're a very important economic ally. And the U.S. has a lot of history with them. So I would expect that Japan's going to get priority just because they came forward very quickly, but it's going to be very busy. And if President Trump, again, gave himself maximum negotiating leverage, and just when he achieved the maximum leverage, he's willing to start talking.
Oh, yeah. Gold and silver reverse losses and soar to session highs. As the rest of the world implodes, transition from fiat to non-fiats, it's accelerating, folks. Silver's up $30, went up again, and then gold's up again. It just makes you wonder how this all plays out, because Dr. Kirk Elliott seems to always figure this stuff out. Tariffs equal even playing field, and it's a negotiation tool. That's what he told us last week. We had the interview on Sunday, and folks, trying to remind those that if you're just tuning in and you're figuring this out, I've been adding now new interviews and new information for news on Sundays included into these interviews. And I think it would be great for you to tune in because we talked about the gold and silver move with markets. We talked about the chemtrails with Nicole Shanahan. We showed different clips coming out from Basent and others. And of course, the best, Dr. Kirk Elliott sharing his wisdom. It's amazing.
These countries, right? So very, very few exclusions. So the minimum 10% tariff, maximum, well, whatever it's going to be half of whatever their tariffs and value-added taxes are. So,
right.
So this is where the stock market came down literally about 1,700 points on Thursday. 1,700.
That was last Thursday, and he goes into specifics, and we look at some information across the board. And of course, then I bring up the chemtrails and more on that video. So if you missed it Sunday, you got to go check it out, folks. You're missing out on quite a bit. And you can reach out to Dr. Kirk Elliott at andweknow.com/gold. It's in the description box below, and they'll have a conversation with you, and it'll be absolutely amazing. And speaking of money, Destiny Harris was working for the city while collecting $16,525 in unemployment. She was charged with illegally obtaining $19,000 in PPP funds and unemployment fraud for receiving unemployed checks while working her full-time job. These are the ones screaming that they hate Doge.
Hello, Destiny. What's going on? Are you Destiny? We have a couple people here. Okay. That's the inquiry. I'm not the residential owner. Is something going on? Are you Destiny? No, ma'am. Okay, can I speak with Destiny, please? Casper, quiet. Can I ask you this regarding?
And Destiny has to come out.
Listen, we just want to talk to you real quick.
Man, they're trying to get her to come out.
Phone call out here, we'll let you make the phone call, but we do have to talk to you. If you leave the door open, we'll let you grab your phone. You can make a phone call out here. Is that okay?
I'm comfortable with that. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, can we leave the door open?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, boy. I would hate to have that visit. And also, I told you in the beginning, we were going to show what happened in Florida with this global child pornography ring.
Officials announcing they have busted an international child pornography ring with close ties right here to Florida. Attorney General James Utmeyer made the announcement in Tampa about an hour ago now. Right now, 8 men are facing charges. Officials tell us the men bought and sold more than 1 million images of child pornography online. One of those men is from Clearwater. Another is from Lakeland.
What these guys were doing was truly heinous. There's not a word in the English dictionary that can describe the gross content that was on the videos.
The Attorney General says some of the suspects found the content through TikTok. He says Florida will go after social media companies that are not fast enough in removing child pornography.
And tell you what, it got that was just a clip from the news, but I wanted you guys to hear what these guys had to go through and the things that they had to unveil. And for those that might have children in the room or those that you don't want hearing some of the specifics, they don't go into too much detail, just sharing how sick it was and evil that what they found on these computers and what these guys were up to.
Busting an international child pornography ring. We will be bringing charges against 8 individuals this morning, 7 of whom are Florida residents. As a dad of 3 little ones, it's tough to talk about some of this stuff, but what these guys were doing was truly heinous. There's not a word in the English dictionary that can describe the gross content that was on the videos. Our investigators have been able to get their hands on over 1 million videos showing sexual abuse on minors. Many of these individuals were babies that are being sold around the world. The 2023 National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reports over 36 million instances of suspected child sexual exploitation and over 100 million files related to child sex abuse material. And that's only what's getting reported. This continues to be a problem in our country, in our state. Protecting our kids is not an easy task to begin with. And today, with the access to the internet and social media, it allows these sick predators to more easily get access to our kids. And as I've said, my first 5-6 weeks on the job here, that's going to be a major priority for my office. The individuals that are being busted today that purchased this harmful content, many of them found it through TikTok. It was available online. They found access to a portal where they could purchase this dangerous material. TikTok has shown they can very quickly get stuff off their website. If there's unlicensed music or something going around, they've proven with a flip of a switch they can get it off. And it's taken too long for them to get some of this pornographic material and avenues to purchase harder, more gross content. We've got to get them to be more accountable. So we will be working on that. We are going to hold social media companies accountable that want to put our families and our kids in jeopardy. So today, these 8 defendants are being charged with multiple felony counts, including RICO, money laundering, and purchase of child pornography. Again, I can't tell you in words how gross this content is, but it shows the dangers, the evil that's out there. It is truly evil. And you've got my word that in this state, we are going to do everything we can to hold these people accountable.
They need to be held accountable, and we hope that other states will be included. Also breaking, the North Carolina, state of North Carolina, Alabama, Kansas, Louisiana, South Dakota, and Tennessee have all banned Sharia law. And for those that probably didn't know, I didn't have this clip ready to play the other day, but there's a retired police officer in Lieutenant Douglas Deaton just blew the lid off the East Plano Islamic Center's epic Sharia enclave that's been operated in Plano, Texas for 12 years, and no one stopped it. So in explosive testimony, Deaton warned Texas officials that this wasn't some future plan. It's already happening, and worse, it's being replicated on a massive scale just outside of Dallas.
I'm a resident of Collin County. I retired from the Plano Police Department after 26 years of full-time law enforcement service, and I dealt with representatives of EPIC many times when I was the sergeant for the Plano Police Department, the training sergeant for the Plano PD. There seems to be a general misunderstanding that we're talking about a plan to build an Islamic Sharia-friendly community. The EPIC neighborhood already exists in Plano. It's been there for nearly 12 years, with 74 residential properties, a massive mosque, schools, a medical clinic, and multiple businesses. It also has an office of an Islamic financing institution called the UIF Corporation. The UIF Corporation is not a bank. It's a Michigan-based corporation whose publicly stated purpose is to, quote, engage in financial transactions that are Sharia compliant, end quote. Those are their words, not mine. The local government officials south of here have known for years that only Muslims can purchase homes inside that neighborhood. You have to be a member of their mosque to live there. The first house built in that neighborhood was built right next to the Plano Police Academy. It's a huge structure with 2 separate front doors. The rear of the property is just a few feet from a large outdoor warning siren. The house has a large second-story platform overlooking the restricted access parking lot where the police department stored specialized vehicles such as bomb trucks, bomb disposal equipment, and the SWAT team's armored vehicle. I am a court-recognized expert in SWAT team tactics and procedures. That house has all the hallmarks of a fortress and a command post. The rear of the house looks a lot like an observation post and a shooting platform. Why would somebody choose to build a house so close to a giant warning siren and a police training site? Why would someone build a huge platform overlooking all those specialized police emergency vehicles? The first owner of that house is a leader in the EPIC neighborhood, and he is also the co-founder of the Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research. And I urge everyone to visit their website and read what it has to say about instituting Sharia law. This is not a matter of radicals hiding in plain sight. They're not hiding. They've been open about their beliefs and their intent. Local government decision makers have failed to ask hard questions for fear of negative publicity and being labeled as bigots. I'm not here to spread innuendo or to make unfounded accusations. I'm asking everyone to simply look at the evidence and the confirmed facts that are already in existence. Thank you for your time, Judge.
Interesting. What do you guys think? Watching all of this. they bring Sharia law, a different law for their own community inside of the United States of America. Will they get by with it? It's also an opportunity for us to maybe go on the outskirts around them and share Christ while they're here. As difficult as that might seem, we hope and certainly know that the future won't be for Sharia law, but that's what they're trying to do. And man, we do not want to turn into what other countries, what's happening there. Also wanted to make sure we had an update on our health real quick on the fluoride issue that's playing out with RFK Jr., what he said here recently.
In Europe, most of the nations have already banned fluoride, and their cavities have not increased. And, there's no way to measure without some kind of observational study an increase in IQ until many years down the road.
And so he says the indicators are that fluoride damages IQ in the same way that lead gasoline does. We will see a difference and people will be healthier. I think I read it most carefully in the last couple of years, and the science involved in the National Toxicity Program issued. That report was devastating. He said, I think we need to apply the precautionary principle in this country that we should do no harm, and it clearly is doing harm. The trade-off is you lose IQ in kids, and we can't afford that. We need all the brain power that we can to handle the challenges of the future. We shouldn't be demanding that parents accept something for their children and their homes that is essentially a medication. They can go to the drugstore and they can get toothpaste. If you want to apply it to your home, you can. You can get mouthwash. I think it's a moral imperative that we all believe in freedom of choice in this country. It is the bedrock of a democracy that the government shouldn't be making decisions, intimate decisions about our own lives. The science is overwhelming on it. Get rid of the fluoride. And if you want fluoride and you want all the junk that goes with it, do your own research. Go get your own fluoride. That's my opinion, adding on to that. And so to those turning on Trump from Blueprint, just a reminder, they lack the willingness to see through the immediate transition to view the long game being played in front of us. You've learned nothing over the last 10 years to those that have doubts about President Trump. I can't imagine being in the exact same place I was 10 years ago in my area of life, especially as it relates to my political comprehension. So the inability to understand the purpose in and vision for the nationalist mission underway is why they're a liability to themselves, those that are turning on Trump. Spoiler, America holds all the cards. We have the largest economy in the world, and everyone wants a piece. Many nations need access to our markets to survive. We are the dominant global power, and this administration will not back down. That's what President Trump promised, and we voted for. When the dust settles, President Trump will deliver a transformative win for all Americans. As promised, we are resetting the imbalance in our global orientation to benefit all Americans. Tax-paying Americans have been exploited to finance the world for decades, while we slip further and further into irreversible debt slavery created by corrupt politicians who print our money at will and stick us, the working tax-paying American, with ever-growing interest and debt. Fixing what many argue is the greatest threat to national security requires significant disruption and brave determination. This indomitable, determined disruption is uncomfortable for those who've never taken the time to truly understand its need or vision to fix it. For those of us that have, we couldn't be cheering President Trump any harder. When we win the trade war, just as we did in DJT's first term, and the markets rage back better than ever, make sure to sing Trump's praises and admit you completely lost the plot, or the people doubting him lost the plot. When the income tax and IRS are eliminated and the Treasury restores its constitutional function, make sure to sing President Trump's praises, admit you completely lost the plot. Those that are doubting him. When America returns to a weighted, sound money system and the value of our dollar explodes, when average Americans are richer than ever before, make sure to sing the praises of Trump. And I will just add this, to sing the praises of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to God our Father, our Heavenly Father, because he's the one that puts the leaders there. We know it. It's biblical. then evolve with the rest of us and don't look back. Don't look back at all. And it kind of gets me into something we brought up before, but a very interesting connection from Jack Straw. Remember President Trump talking about China? And he said China issued retaliatory tariffs of 34%. Therefore, if China does not withdraw, it's 34% that we're throwing on them. Well, that number 34 is very interesting. And I'm going to read this to you. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS's order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11.3 upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta. Actionable 11.4. Confirmation to the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. On POTUS's order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operator necessity. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, as so many have taken for the corrupt and or fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has been broadcast. We will be initiating the emergency broadcast system, EMS, during this time in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news, to all citizens. Organizations and or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you so much for the just wonderful leadership that you have appointed over our nation. Thank you that in the midst of this battle, we can continue to celebrate the victories, to smile, to know that everything is under your control. We know that by trusting you and staying in your word and staying on our knees in prayer, that we have complete peace when the world has no peace. We have complete confidence in you when many doubt you. And we ask for continued increased faith in what you have put together. We ask that you would continue to guide and protect our leaders, those that have been in place to have huge things happen, many that we will probably never know or understand. But may they someday receive the recognition that is due. We know that evil is being exposed. We know that many behind the scenes are working so hard to bring this nation back, which will then someday be able to send out missionaries around this earth to share your word. We look forward to that day of celebration. For it's in the name of Jesus Christ, Yeshua, we pray. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your time and your love, your support, your prayers, and so much more. We hope to see many of you on the cruise, and we hope that you guys pick up our merch and wear it proudly and walk around, and when folks recognize it, they'll say, hey, I watched that show, the And We Know show also. Would love to meet many of you someday. For now, this is LT saying Semper Fi with And We Know, signing out.
Ohtani is hit hard to deep right field. Call's going back at the wall. It's tied. 2 outs, 2 runs. Ohtani with a shot to lock it at 2.
Where is White? Congratulations, Brian. And others. We have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team I didn't think it was that big a deal, actually. Washington.